Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to talk about the series finale of And Just Like That. This is not necessarily going to be a review because honestly, I just don't feel like the last episode is worth just like a line by line of what happened. Ugh. I did watch the episode twice, and then I was going to watch it a third time to take notes. And I was like, it's nothing, I don't really need to take notes because there was really nothing that I felt like I needed to write down that was just so exciting. I don't know. Anyways, I have a lot to say. I'll start off by saying this. I want to give a shout out to the hardcore Sex in the City viewers. I'm not one of those. I would always watch it when it would come on television, like the repeats. I don't remember me watching it when it was airing, when it was running. Um, and then I watched the movie. I actually own the first movie and then the second movie. So I was a fan of the show through based off of the reruns, the repeats, but I wasn't one of those people who would sit down and watch my TV when it was airing the nights that it aired, if that makes sense. But through the repeats, I became like a fan to the point where I own the movie, not the second movie, the first one. Um, I went back and watched all of the seasons after the second season of And Just Like That. I was like, let me just go back and watch. Um, and I rarely go back and do stuff like that, but I was like, let me just go back and watch Sex in the City from the beginning so I can really, really, you know, understand the characters. So then it could probably make a little bit more sense to me now that we have this spinoff. So I went back and watched all of the seasons, and most of it I'd already seen due to the repeats on E. But I was like, oh, okay, so so anyways, um, I wasn't disappointed in And Just Like That. I absolutely love the show. Were there moments in the show where I was just like, girl, I guess. Yes, absolutely. But was I one of those people that just hated the show? Like I've seen a lot of negativity towards the spinoff. No, I was not one of those people. Um, I think for me, because I knew it wasn't going to be the same show. They changed the title of the show for a reason. It went from Sex in the City to And Just Like That. So I think that was kind of like an indication of them letting the people know that while yes, some of these characters will travel on over to the spinoff, the show won't necessarily be the same. Hence the title of the show changing. The show, from what I've seen, a lot of people say it was too woke. Listen, I'm about to say some stuff, and this is not for everybody. I think there are a group of people out there who wanted the show to remain just about four white women in this white world that they lived in. And I get it because that's who you grew to love. And that's the show that you grew to love. However, again, the show is changing. I understand. I'm not going to sit here and play in y'all face. I do understand, even though it wasn't necessarily a problem for me to the point where it made me hate the show. I do understand how it was a lot for people to soak in with this spinoff. Because we went from four white women in their white world to now the majority of those white women, minus Samantha, now moving into this new world with Black people, with Hispanic people, with, you know, they already had gay people, but gays and lesbians. Now they have trans folk and non-binary. I think non-binary and trans is the same thing, right? Don't quote me. I don't know. I'll learn though. I think so. But anyways, so now we have all of these new folk being introduced to this world where it was necessarily not about that. Yeah, we've seen drag queens, we've seen the gays, right? But now y'all starting this, you know, pronoun, even though girl pronouns have been around since the beginning of time. Now we have this pronoun stuff and they and them, and then we have Brady from the very first season, girl in the room banging his girlfriend while his mom and daddy is literally in the girl a wall between. Then you have Rock, who's trans, I believe, or non-binary. Then you have Lily, who's in a poly relationship and she's 16, 17 years old. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it wasn't a lot, because, girl, it was. Because even for me, I was like, okay, girl, this is just too progressive for me. Girl, this is too progressive for me. Like, now y'all got the kids in poly relationships. Girl, okay, we go. Now, girl, it's one thing. It's one thing for, you know, for a parent to give their child alcohol, right? It's another thing now, girl. You sitting right next door while your son is banging on his girlfriend. It can't. It was. I could see how it could be a turn off to some people. But then on the flip side of that, while I can acknowledge that it could be a lot for some people and that was a turnoff, the flip side of that is, girl, we are in 2025. We are not in 1999. We are not in 2000. We are not in 1990. We are not in 2005. We are in 2025. At some point, people are going to have to open up their eyes and realize that representation matters and that these people do exist. And while you may want to live in your bubble, that's not how the outside really looks. Especially if you live in New York City. Now, it's one thing if you live in some small hick town in Texas, right? I'm from a very, 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 very small town. When I left, it was 1,500 people. We had one traffic light. I'm not making this up. We had a high school, a middle school, an elementary school, intermediate school. The high school and the middle school were right beside each other. The elementary school and the intermediate school were right beside each other in the pre-K school. Pre-K, I think pre-K, was it pre-K kindergarten? I can't remember. My graduating class was 79 people. Pretty much everybody knew everybody. To the point, I remember one time I went home and I'm driving to my grandmother's house and I see a car I had never seen before. I knew it wasn't there when I left, and I was like, girl, who got a new car? And they was like, oh, that's so and so car. I was like, oh, okay. It was that small. So unless you grew up in a town like that, where you might see a gay person, hello, or come on, or a lesbian, then you might not necessarily see all of the other people that exist in the world. You may not run across a trans person, or you might know that they're trans. Y'all get what I'm trying to say? But in New York City in 2025, you're definitely going to see every person that was on And Just Like That. You're going to see them in New York City. So again, at some point, while I completely get that some of the storylines, some of the stuff that was happening on the show was seemed too much, because it did appear as though they just came back and just said boom. And I think that for a lot of people, including me in some areas of the show, we're like, girl, hold up. Baby, this is a lot. I think they probably would have done better by gradually trying to introduce some of these new characters into the show. Right? But that's not the route they took. It really was just, here you go, boom, and girl, this is where we're at with the show. Again, I get that side, I'm looking at both sides of a coin. We have at some point we're going to have to evolve and realize that all types of people exist. Um, I was not necessarily upset at. Okay, while I do believe the series finale was underwhelming, I wasn't necessarily angry at the way that it ended. I almost teared up, believe it or not, because I thought it was a realistic ending. This is just how I look at it. And I know I'm on an island by myself. It was me and this one white lady. Shout out to the white lady I saw on I think it was Instagram. At this stage in their life, the way that it ended made the most sense. While yes, we want the girls to sit around a table and in the movie end or the show end that way, the reality is these are women in their 50s, 50s. Carrie is not in a relationship. Harry just finished beating cancer. Charlotte is going to be with her husband on the holiday because that's what he wants to do, and her kids. Miranda is entering into a new relationship. Miranda is going to spend probably the majority of the day, if not the full day, like most people do in relationships, with the person who they love. Y'all know how y'all get when y'all get into relationships. Seema, the same way. I appreciated the fact that Carrie realized that I have always pretty much had options. I could go from this man to this man, and now I realize that, girl, it might be over, and you're not necessarily alone, but you're on your own. Because I think that for some people, they wanted the like fairy tale Disney ending, right? Where Carrie and Duncan probably get together and then they live happily ever after. I think it was good to show Carrie on her own, accepting that this is okay. And the song coming on, "You're my first, you're my last, my everything." I literally almost teared up because I felt like I got it. I felt like I got the ending. This is a realistic ending. These women are in their 50s. Charlotte is going to be with her husband who just beat cancer. Miranda going to be with her bitch. Seema going to be with her man. We may spend a day, we may spend a couple of hours together for Thanksgiving, but eventually I got to go home to my husband. And matter of fact, I can't even come over because my husband said he don't want to come. So I'm going to drop this stuff and go, and then I'm going to head back home. I loved that part when Carrie went home and turned on that song, and she kind of just fell into this may be, and it might change. But I really did love that part. That was probably like my favorite part of the entire episode. There are things that I felt like, girl, what are we doing now we're gonna have to tug on some wigs. There were so many. There were too many open. There were too many storylines that didn't come to a close for me. I felt like the storyline with Kara came to a close. She accepted the fact. She accepted that might be a fact that she'll be on her own for the rest of her life, and that this is the reality that these people are in relationships, starting new relationships, and this is who they're going to be with some days, and I'll be over here in this big ass house by myself. So I'm going to get used to it, and I'm going to be okay with it. Because there's nothing wrong with being on your own. Brady. Y'all started that storyline with Brady too late in the game, and then all of a sudden, did the bitch have a baby? Did she have a miscarriage? Did she put the baby up for adoption? Is Brady even the baby daddy? Because from what Miranda said, she's a hoe. Girl, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, girl, where did that storyline end? I didn't like that. Because I felt like that could have been a good story to see how that played out. Seema, a part of me, I didn't like the fact that Seema pretty much changed up who she was in order to meet the family. I don't like stuff like that. I feel like you are who you are, and I get that it happens a lot of times. You kind of put your representative up front because that's what Seema did. Seema, we ain't never seen you in jeans, girl, for 3 fucking seasons, and now since you meeting his hillbilly family, girl, let me just put some jeans on. But what happens when the time comes when you decide to stop wearing the jeans? You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, I am the girl who walks around in designer and a Chanel bag. And girl, now this is not the man I thought I was going to end up with, but this is who the man I ended up with. I just started finding Seema interesting again, not because she got into a relationship, but because I just felt like it was something worth. Because at one point I was like, girl, why is Seema on the show? Seema wasn't hitting it for me. I'll say even with Lisa, y'all know how I feel about Lisa and her family. Because that's my black family. I love the fact that we finally had a black family on a television show that was rich. I don't know if they were rich, but they were doing well for themselves. They didn't have any issues. It wasn't like they were struggling. They wasn't ghetto and gutter snipe, right? The issues they had were just like, oh, I may not necessarily get along with my mother-in-law all the time. I will say sometimes Lisa's story fell flat, if we're going to be honest. And sometimes I was like, okay, girl, they're going to have to do something with Lisa because this is not, it's kind of like, okay, girl, what are we doing? It did get boring sometimes with even with Charlotte. I think it would be some episodes when I will review the show, I wouldn't even mention Charlotte. Or if I did, it was just like, okay, girl, Charlotte fell on the ground. So again, that there were things I definitely disliked about the show, but it wasn't enough for me to just hate the show because I actually loved the show. Baby, I thought the conversations they were having at the end of this episode when they went to the bridal, girl, I thought those wedding dresses were absolutely gorgeous. They went to like a fashion show, and I thought the conversations were important that they were having. Like Seema, you know, Adam is really not a big fan of marriage. Seema wants to be married, but Seema's also like, do I want to be married, or was I socialized to think that way? Was I programmed to think that way? Like, why do I feel like I need to be married? Like, I felt like that was I thought that was a good conversation. Now, why were they having it in the middle of a goddamn fashion show? Okay, girl, whatever. But I thought it was a good conversation. Because I feel like, no shade, I feel like a lot of the girls, that's where the Disney movies fuck y'all up. A lot of the girls grow up wanting to have a Disney movie. Shout out to Erica De Niro TV. Sometimes y'all grow, not sometimes, a lot of times y'all grow up wanting to have a wedding and know nothing about marriage. But because when they throw a Disney movie on in front of our faces, and it's always, some woman, when you low-key think about it, some woman rescuing a man, or the prince rescuing some woman, and then they, get married and live happily ever after. So the girls grow up wanting to have this big fancy wedding, but they only really want the wedding. They just want to get dressed up in a pretty big white dress. And then when y'all get married, y'all get a divorce because really and truly, you just really wanted a wedding. Girl, just go get married. Girl, go get married to your damn self. That's really what you want. You just want to feel pretty for a day. You want to feel like a princess. Disney really did a number on the girls. No shade. But I thought they were girl. There were some parts I was like, it's just a television show, right? When like the when Brady's supposed baby mama came over with her friends, I was like, I mean, it was funny. I was like, girl, who? There's somebody. I mean, I guess, girl. You had the one queen in the living room doing 8 counts and dips and death drops and shit, girl. I said, I guess, girl. I mean, like I said, it was underwhelming. However, I wasn't mad at like the last 5 minutes of the show. I really wasn't. I thought the ending. I really thought the ending was. I thought the ending was like everything to me because I just felt like it was a realistic ending. And as much as people don't want to admit it, I get it, girl. People do change when they get in relationships. Stuff changes when people have kids. Stuff changes when people have families. Things change when you find out your husband has cancer and he says, "I want to stay home. I can't come over." Girl, my phone ring. Um, and I thought Carrie kind of just dancing by herself in her home. I thought it was good. I really did. Because every ending is not going to be a Disney ending. I know there are a large group of people out there who really thought that Carrie was going to end up with Duncan. Duncan was probably going to come back and rescue Carrie, and they was going to live happily ever after in that big ass house. No, Duncan not coming back. Aiden is a mess. Big is dead. Girl, she finally mentioned Big. That's another thing too, bitch. Bitch, when I tell you, bitch, the way that Carrie been moving, like she forgot all about that nigga. When I tell you, the way that Carrie has been talking about Aiden as if Big never existed. Girl, I would even get confused sometimes. Bitch, why are you talking about Aiden? Girl, like Big ain't nothing. Bitch, because we gonna be honest, like I said, you're not living in that house based off the motherfucking books you wrote, girl. Okay? Now I'm not trying to say Carrie was girl wouldn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but bitch, she won't be living in that house. She living in that house because girl, Big fucked around and had a heart attack because of that Peloton. Okay? And she inherited a little bit of shank like a lion, girl, a little bit of coin from that death. To the simple fact that girl, you living in a house of your husband's money, of his dead money. And girl, this is the first time I done heard you mention Big. Every time I look up, Carrie talking about girl, me and Aiden were together for 22 years. No, y'all were not. Girl, Aiden went off, married a whole nother woman. Not only had one, not two, bitch, 3 kids, one of them fucking psycho. Okay? You done went off, married Big. Y'all have not been together for 22 years. At all. Girl. Anyways, but yeah, she finally mentioned Big. I said finally, girl, because the way now Big wasn't about shit either. But girl, what you not gonna do is just not mention the man now. Like girl, Carrie be talking like that man ain't never existed. I say, well shit. I hate to get on her bad side. Um, yeah. I said, girl, they literally left us. They literally left the last episode just full of shit. Literally full of shit. Girl, one of the scenes, one of the toilet was clogged up, and the man who Charlotte was trying to Charlotte trying to set Carrie up with, he went to go pee, and as he flushed the toilet, girl, all the stuff came from the pipe. Anyways, Joy, end up. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but Joy end up kind of, she was very attached to her dogs to the point where she didn't leave her dogs at home. So even Joy was making a step to being more committed to her relationship with Miranda. She left her dogs at home. And I think that was a major step for Joy because, again, she's very attached to those dogs. So for her to leave the dogs at home and go over to Miranda's house on Thanksgiving Day, I thought that said a lot about the direction their relationship was going, which was probably positive because Miranda went to go see about Joy on Thanksgiving Day. Her dogs basically, one of the dogs basically swallowed something, and the dog had to like be rushed to surgery. And Miranda went to go see about Joy. And then she went back home. And then later on, after Joy and the dogs went home, Joy came over, but she came without the dogs. So I thought that was a positive step, a step in a positive direction with their relationship. And then Seema, again, her and Adam are doing okay. She put some jeans on, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I said, girl, whatever, girl. You don't even wear jeans. I don't like stuff. I don't expect people to meet. I don't expect you to meet someone's family and just be a gutter snipe, how you might be on a Saturday night with your girlfriends. But I do believe in presenting who you are from the door, because I think that's where a lot of relationships start to kind of get fucked up. Of course, you're not going to show everybody your flaws. You might be a bitch, once out the, on Sundays. But I just believe in trying to present. I just believe trying to present yourself for who you are as much as you can from the gate. I just do. And I don't like the jean stuff. Her putting on some shit she ain't never wore before. Anyways, maybe I'm reading too much into it. And who else? Charlotte was with her family. That's it. Anthony, I didn't. Anthony and Giuseppe. I didn't understand Anthony and Giuseppe. Like, I didn't understand that their ending. Basically, Giuseppe felt some type of way because Anthony didn't know if Giuseppe was asking him to marry him because he just basically wanted a mattress, a maid, and a mule. And so when Anthony found out, when Giuseppe found out, that's what was kind of holding him back from really, I guess, being committed to being married. He picked up a pie and put it and threw it in his face, and then they laughed about it. And I was like, okay, this is dumb. this is dumb. I thought that was dumb as hell. I didn't get it. I don't know. Maybe I missed something that would have made it more sense. Would have made that moment make sense, but it just was dumb to me. Carrie was the one who basically was running around she ordered like all these pies. And so she was running around, handing out the pies because she ordered too many. I think it made sense because I'm the single, not to say that because Carrie is single that she's going to be the pie lady. But the fact of the matter is when you're single, you do have more free time. Okay. You sometimes have a more flexible schedule compared to people who have kids and families. When you're single with no kids, your schedule is sometimes a lot more flexible. I'll say that. Not to say that you're less busy, but you probably have a more flexible schedule. So her kind of like running around handing out the pies where everybody was kind of like at home with their families. I don't know. I just feel like some parts of the finale just made sense for where they were in their lives. And Carrie being the single, childless woman. That sounds so horrible how I just said it. In comparison to her friends who are not entering into new relationships. I just like the ending made more sense than to me it did. But yeah, I loved And Just Like That. I really, really did. Like I don't really review a lot of scripted shows. I review P-Valley. Girl, I don't know what the fuck P-Valley is at, but I'm about to get pissed off. I reviewed P-Valley and Just Like That. I think those are the only two. Maybe another one I can't remember. So, for the most part, when I review shows, it's usually like reality TV. So, like, for me to re-review, this is just for me. For me to be reviewing And Just Like That, that just like I really love the show. Like I really love P-Valley. Like I really did love And Just Like That. So when I found out it was coming to an end, I was like, wait, whoa. Oh, let's talk about the ending. I do believe it's something in the water ain't clean. I don't know what happened. Of course, I don't know. But a part of me feels like this was not supposed to be the series finale. A part of me feels like somewhere in the midst of the season, I don't know if they had some extra footage. Girl laying around on the cutting room floor and they pieced some shit together. I don't know if they had the girls hurry up and get back together and said, girl, we just need to do one last episode. I need everybody to meet down to the studio. I don't know. But I don't believe necessarily that, I don't think the show was canceled. Because some people were saying, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, some people were saying that And Just Like That was still one of HBO Max's top shows. Some people think the show was canceled. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, especially if the show, as much as people complained about it, because a lot of people, no shade, a lot of y'all hate watched. Y'all will watch it just, no shade. But I do feel like something wasn't right. I feel like something wasn't right. Like, I don't think the way they ended the show, it did kind of give more of a like, I don't know. I don't think they went into season 3 thinking or knowing that season 3 would be the last season. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I think that decision was made probably in the middle, and in that last episode that they broke it into 2, because it was really just a 30-minute episode, less than 30 minutes, I believe. And they were like, okay, girl, we're just gonna end it, because I really think this is what I believe happened. I believe because so many people had negative feelings about the show, I think that they just went ahead and said, girl, let's just end it, and we're gonna call it quits. And it is what it is. I do believe that it was Sarah Jessica Parker's and what's his name, Michael Patrick King. I don't know the man's name. I do believe it was more probably their decision. I don't believe HBO Max canceled it, but I believe they probably just saw the negative feelings that people had, and they just said, "Go, let's pull the plug." And I think that they kind of just like threw something together. Girl, low key. But I don't think that last episode was supposed to be the series finale. Was it supposed to probably be the season finale? Yes, but I don't think it was supposed to be the series finale. I think Carrie, accepting the fact that she was going to be on her own, that was supposed to be a season finale for And Just Like That. But they made it into a series finale. Anyways, I love the show. It's gone. I thought it was amazing. I just thought it was good to see these people who were in their 20s and 30s, right? To then see them on the other side, now in their 50s, right? And now, they're having, their skin is changing, their faces are changing, they're getting older. Their bodies are not the same way they used to be. They're using Rogaine now. They're having to take vitamins every day, and they have to watch what they eat. And like, I just thought it was good to see the other side. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a show where we saw the characters young, and then we saw them on the other side of the rainbow. I don't want to say old, because they're not old, because Carrie's still young. Carrie still fly as hell. And that's another thing too, baby. That Carrie Bradshaw, that's the flyest white bitch girl on TV. Carrie ain't even just one of the flyest white bitches. Baby, Carrie's one of the flyest women on TV. Now, it's been a couple of outfits I'll be looking at Carrie like, girl, what you got on? But for the most part, Carrie is, when I tell you Carrie is, baby, whoever does Carrie's fashions, they hit it out the ballpark. When I be looking at Carrie like, this bitch is so goddamn fly. This bitch is fly. Baby, Carrie be fly as hell. I don't like the way they did Miranda though. They had Miranda walking around here looking like she was just like a suburban PTA mom. Shout out to the suburban PTA moms. Miranda would give you the best Miranda look was when she had that red dress on at the art exhibit from what's the hell her name? Charlotte's art exhibit. Other than that, girl, Miranda just girl, I forgot who. I think it was one of the cousins. Girl, they turned Miranda into a lesbian and just took all her fashion sense away. Girl, right? God damn. But you like the lesbian still can be fashionable. I said I ain't like that. I like the way they did Miranda. And Charlotte just gonna always give you just prim and proper stepper wife to me. Charlotte was never a fashionable. Charlotte would be cute, but Charlotte was a cute. Charlotte was fashionable, but it was like a mom fashionable, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. she still had her style. Like I knew Charlotte's style was her style, right? But that Carrie though, baby, that Carrie was something serious, baby. Anyways, shout out to Duncan with his fine ass. Shout out to Duncan. Shout out to just the show. Yeah, that was it. Steve said he was going to apologize to Brady because he threatened to beat his ass because of that baby. It's so crazy because I forgot. Didn't Miranda and Steve? That's how Brady was conceived. I think because I think a one night stand, right? Was it a one night stand or were they already? No, I think they were already dealing with each other. Was it? I think they had a one night stand and then eventually just was having sex and then Miranda ended up getting pregnant. Right? Is that how it was? I can't remember, girl. Anyways, it don't even matter, girl. The show is over. I might rewatch And Just Like That again in probably like a few months. Not now because I got too much stuff I need to do. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Charlotte, Anthony, Carrie, Miranda, Samantha, Duncan, Aiden. I'm so happy Aiden is out of the picture. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, y'all. Oh, the show is over. Oh, that's what I was saying. Did I say that already? Girl, that it was. I think I did say that. It's good to see that. I had never seen a show where they started out young and then we saw the other side. I did say that, right? Yeah. So I thought that was fascinating. And then remember when season 1 came, Carrie was looking at her face, how it changed and how she had gotten older. I just thought moments of the show were like realistic moments. Like, anyways, it is what it is. All right, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.